Greetings from Texas. Today we're going to make, for Cast Iron Wednesday, Meatless Wednesday, we're going to make a onion soup. I'm not going to call it, I guess I'll call it French onion. French onion basically refers to the type of cut, you know, like French cut green beans, French fries, long and skinny, so we're going to cut with the grain. Normally you want to use Spanish onions for the traditional soup, because they caramelize up the best, but I only have 2. I'm using a total of 5 onions, which seems like a lot, but it's going to sweat down and reduce. So we got 1 red onion, 2 Spanish or yellow onions, 2 Vidalia onions. We're going to use a half a stick of butter, about a half a cup of white wine or cooking sherry, whatever you happen to have on hand. We got some black pepper. I'm going to add my little twist of a little bit of paprika and of course cayenne. And for the broth, instead of using beef broth, I found that this au jus sauce really makes a rich French onion soup. I'm using Pioneer brand. This makes 2 cups of water. So I want at least 6 cups of water for the soup. If you use the Schilling brand, each package of Schilling brand uses 3 cups of water. So you'd only need 2 packs of the Schilling brand, but for 6 cups, we're going to use 3 of those Pioneer. If I didn't mention, we have garlic. We're going to use 3 cloves, or in this case, 2.5 cloves, and some bay leaf. You could add fresh thyme if you want. All right, for our pan, we're using a cast iron French style Dutch oven. And into that, we're going to put our half a stick of butter and about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And we're going to go ahead and preheat that up to medium. All right, we're going to prep our onions. Cut off the ends here. And we're going to cut these in half and just peel away that first layer of skin. All right, our onions are halved and skinned. Let's go ahead and cut them. I like to start at an angle, and as you get toward the middle, when you get here, you just cut straight down. There's our onions. All right, we're entering the most laborious part of this. We're going to go ahead and, number 1, preheat our oven to 350 degrees. Because we're going to cover this and finish this off in the oven. And if you're cooking like chilies and stew that require a lot of stirring, you could circumvent that by putting it in the oven, and the heat's going to hit it all the way around instead of just on the bottom. So we're just starting to get a little bit of sizzle here with our oil. And let's go ahead and add our onions. So you're just going to want to go at this slow. Take your time. This should take about 20 to 30 to 40 minutes, and we want to get them I'd like to get them a dark brown color, and you're going to develop some fond on the bottom of the pan, which we're going to deglaze with that wine. All right, after the initial toss, I'm going to add just a little bit more oil. I want these onions to be well coated, but you don't want it sitting. Okay, let's prep our garlic. Okay, after the initial tossing and coating, what I'm doing here is I'm setting my timer for 5 minutes. You barely hear the sizzling, the bubbling in the pan, so we're going to just check it every 5 minutes instead of sitting here stirring it constantly. And that's my oven preheated. So checking every 5 minutes on medium heat. All right, the first 5 minutes have gone by. Let's see how they're doing on the bottom. Okay, they're starting to turn color. Let's go ahead and... Okay, 15 minutes has gone by, and see, it'll start to get a little syrupy as the water cooks out. Here we are after 20 minutes total time. They're starting to turn, but there's still a ways to go. Okay, 30 minutes of caramelization. It's looking good. We got a little bit of a fond on the bottom. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to add a teaspoon of paprika, a half a teaspoon of cayenne, and a half a teaspoon of black pepper. Just going to toss that around. The cayenne and the paprika are just a tweak I do. Okay, at this point, we're going to add our garlic and toss that through. Okay, I kind of tossed it around for about 3 minutes. We're going to add a half a cup of wine. And we're going to crank up the heat a little bit. We're going to cook off the alcohol, leaving the sugars. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes, and cooked off all the alcohol. We're back down to our syrupy kind of texture. And we don't smell the alcohol anymore. So now let's add our au jus. Okay, we got our 6 cups of water in. Let's go ahead and get that au jus mix incorporated. All right, once it comes back up to a simmer, we're gonna go ahead and cover it and put it into the oven for 1 hour. All right, a half hour has gone by. We're just gonna check on it. There we go. See, when you cook it this way, you don't have to worry about anything burning on the bottom. Okay, we're gonna prep our cheese. Usually Gouda cheese is put on the top. My big pet peeves about restaurant French onion soup is they'll stick the bread in and it will sit in there and end up being a oniony sponge with very little broth. And I want soup. So I will serve this on the side with a little olive oil, and I don't put a huge cap of cheese and bake that on. I'll take a good pinch and put my cheese on the top and let it kind of melt in there, and that'll add a little saltiness. In my case, I'm using my own smoked white cheddar cheese. And that's going to be enough cheese for 2 bowls of soup. The soup's almost done. Let's get the rest of the prep work done. So I'm going to take my bread, and I have this garlic rosemary oil. I just put olive oil in here with some minced garlic and dried rosemary. All right, out of the oven after 1 hour. Let's go ahead and give this a stir, and we'll taste for seasoning. Okay, there's our bowl of soup. It's going to take a big pinch of cheese. Put it in the middle with our bread. And see, you don't need to cook the crap out of that cheese. It's just going to melt in there and add that little extra flavor. All right, let's do the taste test. First a dip. That's good. All right, and I love these Chinese soup spoons. Here we go. That is better than any restaurant, I'll tell you that much. At least that I've been to. All right, folks, that's my version of French onion soup, American style. Thanks for watching.